At Gatwick Airport, a flight has just come in from Port of Spain in Trinidad and Tobago. The Caribbean is a known problem area for the production and distribution of Class A drugs, and UK border agency officers are closely monitoring passengers as they pass through the airport. A lone male passenger has been stopped by officers. He claims to have come to the UK for a family wedding.
Can I just ask you a little bit more about you said you're over here for your sister's wedding? Yeah?
We're on vacation, but she told me she's getting married, so I will attend at the same time.
All right, so you had initially planned to come over here for a vacation, and then you found out your sister was getting married. Is there any other family coming from Trinidad for your sister's wedding?
My mother's supposed to come up.
And when is she arriving in the UK? Do you know?
Friday.
Friday. Do you know which airport she's coming into?
This airport.
She's coming into this airport.
What is the name of this airport again?
The name of this airport? The name of this airport is London Gatwick.
Gatwick.
Okay, you've flown into London Gatwick today.
Having looked in the man's suitcase, Officer Sarah chats to colleagues with concerns about the man's possessions.
The clothing, it's all manner of sizes, ranging from medium through to XXL. They're quite new bags. The shoes are not the same size. There's nothing in there that I would expect somebody to wear to a wedding.
Officers working in immigration have already called a phone number the man has provided for his sister.
The sister apparently has made no mention to the immigration officer of the wedding.
With too many holes in the man's story, and with reason to doubt the purpose of his visit to the UK, Sarah is granted permission to conduct a search of the passenger.
There are some things that I'm not satisfied with that you've told me in terms of your reasons for coming over to the UK. So for that reason, okay, I've had authorisation to do a rub-down search on you. It's going to be some of the male officers that will do the search on you. Okay, they're going to take you into a room away from the channels here, but they'll explain to you exactly what they're going to do when they get into the room, okay? Because I want to make sure that you don't have anything with you that you shouldn't be bringing into the country.
The man is led away as concerns grow that he may be a drug smuggler. To ensure all items brought into the country are legal and properly declared, UK border agency officers work round the clock at Gatwick every day. In addition, an elite group of sniffer dogs who are trained solely in the detection of illegal drugs also patrol daily. A call has come in about a discovery sniffer dog Megan has made in the cargo hold.
As you see, she's just found it, and that's what she's doing. She's doing a freeze stare. Yay! He's a clever girl. What we got here basically is a consignment from South America. As Megan's gone round it, she's indicating, because there's obviously smell coming out there.
As Megan has given her award for indicating on the package, officers need to investigate exactly what it is she's found.
It certainly feels like it's some sort of books, probably sort of heavyweight books, which we've seen in the past with the pages actually sort of taken out the centres of the books and drugs concealed inside.
Though officers are confident drugs are present, they must wait for permission to examine the contents. In the meantime, they rebag the packages so they can be used as a training aid for other sniffer dogs.
It's what we've done now. We've brought our other dogs over so we can get them live rewarded. It's probably the best training we can do is in situ with live gear, so hopefully all our dogs will come in, get rewarded on the scent, and then it just improves their abilities for later on.
The introduction of sniffer dogs to the cargo hold has been extremely successful, allowing packages to be assessed in a fraction of the time.
On a daily basis, we get sort of 5-6 tons of parcels and mail come through, so the dogs will be able to sort of do that within half hour. To do it manually, you're talking hours and hours to actually manually go through each item of mail.
On this test, all 3 dogs successfully indicate on the packages, but officers will need to wait to see if there are drugs inside. In the airport's North Terminal, the male passenger, who has supposedly travelled to the UK for his sister's wedding, has been taken for a body search.
His demeanour didn't seem right when I was talking to him at the gate. He said that basically his sister has paid half the ticket to come over here and half of the hotel booking fee. However, immigration have spoken to his sister and she said, no, I've not given him any money for the ticket, but I am going to be paying half the hotel fee.
Even though nothing is found during the search, officers still suspect the man may be smuggling drugs inside his body. A swab test is conducted on his shoes. Swallowers will often secrete traces of drugs in the sweat in their feet. And a small trace for the presence of cocaine increases their suspicion.
Okay, we're going to ask him if he'll go through the X-ray.
Oh, okay.
The man is taken to the body scanning machine to find out if he's got any packages inside him.
Watch. We'll just ask you to stand on this conveyor belt like this, okay? And then when we push the button, we'll move over towards the wall, okay?
Exhale, hold your breath, then breathe in, then breathe in. Then carry on breathing down, that's fine. Breathe as normal.
Do you want to follow me?
The results from the X-ray are conclusive.
I think there is something there.
He looks very full up, this guy. Does look very competitive.
The images on these screens do look like there is some kind of mass there, so it's quite possible that he has got packages inside him.
Sarah breaks the news to the passenger.
Now, I've had a look at the X-ray images in there, okay, and I think that there may be something inside you. I think you may have swallowed possibly some packages of drugs. I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the importation of a controlled drug. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The man is put in handcuffs and escorted to the airport's custody suite. Officers have a duty of care to ensure that the packages of drugs pass through him as swiftly and safely as possible.
In due course, he'll be interviewed, and for the duration of his time with us, he'll be monitored 24 hours a day, and he will use a special toilet and pass the packages that he swallowed as nature takes its course.
Since we've been in the custody suite here, Mr. Crawley has been into the toilet twice. He's not passed any packages, so he's been put into a white paper suit in the custody suite here in the cell, and then we'll be transporting him up to Heathrow in the prison van.
The man was monitored at Gatwick Airport for a further 3 hours before being taken to Heathrow. He eventually passed 41 packages filled with cocaine. At the airport's cargo hold, officers have been given permission to search the 2 bags that sniffer dog Megan indicated contained drugs. The bags are taken to the cargo officers, where it's the moment of truth. As Officer Allen predicted, the smugglers have used book casings as a disguise.
All different books in here. They're all cling film wrapped.
But their attempt at concealing whatever's inside was no match for sniffer dog Megan's sensitive nose.
The book's been cut out. It's quite a crude concealment. Obviously it doesn't take much finding on opening that book.
See big packages of white powder coming out is it's a good sign that the dogs have done something right. So it's a celebration time, I think.
But not before the packages are tested to see if the white powder definitely is cocaine.
See, it's gone blue, indicating the presence of cocaine. I'm just estimating at the moment there's probably a couple of kilos per book. Obviously we'll weigh it and get a proper total at the end.
It's a massive seizure, weighing in at over 20 kilograms. and has a street value in the region of £1 million. Officers are delighted in the knowledge that one customer will not be receiving their illegal goods.
It's turned out to be a good result today, so well chuffed.
Coming up, Officer Hazel deals with two deceitful travellers with some long stories.
You told me that she bought them on different days, and now you're changing what you're telling me. You can't expect me to believe you now.
Coming up, sniffer dog Bren uncovers more drugs.
His indication there was to freeze and to literally stare at the box. It's tested positive to cocaine.
At Gatwick Airport, border agency officers are paying close attention to holidaymakers returning from Montego Bay in Jamaica. Passengers are being observed as they pass through immigration, and Officer Lorinda's attention is drawn to a white-haired male who sat on a passenger transporter. She follows him down to the luggage reclaim area and waits to intercept him as he passes through the green Nothing to Declare channel.
Hello there, sir. Are you travelling on your own today? OK, can I see your passport and your tickets, please?
The man says he's been working out in Jamaica for the past 10 months and has travelled back to the UK for medical treatment.
You're fully aware it's illegal to import into the UK drugs, firearms and decent officing material? Yep. OK, super.
Well, I don't take drugs anyway, so...
Just need to check that you understand it's illegal to bring them in anyway.
I'm doing this one.
OK. Right, just bear with me. I'll have a look through that in a second. All right.
Lorinda opens the man's suitcase to search for any illicit materials, and straight away she makes an unusual discovery.
Why have you got one inside one?
Well, because when I come back...
So you're going to fill it up whilst you're here? What kind of things are you going to be buying then?
Oh, nothing really. Sometimes some tool stuff.
Right. You put that one back in your bag so it's safe.
Lorinda opens up the second of the man's suitcases.
And you've got another one inside another one?
That's it, yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to carry in the hand luggage on a plane.
Right, OK. Yeah, it's either like the Russian doll.
So what do you want me to do, smile now or what?
The man is clearly in good spirits, but Lorinda must thoroughly check the contents of his cases.
Right, am I going to find another one in this one?
No, that's it.
That's it, is it?
That's it, yeah. Is it?
This is all you've got for a couple of months' stay?
I've got all my stuff over there.
What, are your sisters?
Yeah.
OK.
After a meticulous search of the man's possessions, Lorinda is happy he's carrying nothing illegal and he's free to go.
OK, Mr. Hitchens. Everything's wonderful, thank you very much. Yep. That's fine. OK.
It's the first time I've ever been searched. I've been travelling all over the world with it. So anyway, that's their job. Because they could have found bombs on there, right? Explosives on there. So that's their job.
Gatwick is the second busiest airport in the UK. With hundreds of flights arriving daily, there are thousands of bags that need to be checked. Drug detection dogs are employed to assess bags before they're reclaimed by passengers in the baggage hall. This afternoon, luggage is being scanned from a Lithuanian flight, and Officer Hazel finds one bag on the X-ray which he suspects contains a large quantity of cigarettes.
If the cigarettes have originated in the European Union, their allowance is 3,200. If they're non-EU cigarettes, they're only entitled to 200. So we have to work out where those cigarettes have come from. But until we speak to the passengers, we won't know.
Once the bag is identified, it's placed back on the carousel for the passenger to pick it up. Officers will observe closely to see who collects it and then stop them for questioning.
Hello there. Hello. Where have you just flown in from? Just bring your bag. Are you travelling together? Yes. Yes, just bring your bags over here for me for a minute, please. Sorry. Do you have your passports, please? Yes. Do you speak English? No.
Only one of the women speaks English, so she'll act as a translator for a friend.
Do you have anything to declare to customs?
No.
Do you have any alcohol, cigarettes or tobacco that you've bought?
I have alcohol
Okay. Can you ask her if she has any alcohol?
No, she doesn't have any alcohol.
What about cigarettes or tobacco?
Yes, she has cigarettes.
Oh, right, okay. How many?
She has about 10 cartons.
10 cartons. Okay, let's have a quick look.
Hazel knows from the X-ray that the passengers are lying about the number of cigarettes they're carrying, so she checks their suitcases for the evidence. If the cigarettes have been bought outside of the EU, they'll all be seized.
Where did you buy these? In Lithuania?
But the writing on the packets, along with the way in which the cigarettes have been packed, makes Hazel think otherwise.
Why have you done this? I'm just wondering why she's wrapped them up in bras and things in her underwear.
The 10 cartons the women declared they're carrying is a gross underestimate.
4,500. Well, it's 4,880.
But it's not just the quantity that's concerning Hazel.
I don't think that's Lithuanian writing. We will check.
Translating the writing on the packets will give officers an idea about where the cigarettes have come from.
Look up nicotine.
Okay.
The writing on the packets looks Russian.
So that nicotine is the Russian version. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
they look Russian.
Naughty people, they're Russians.
With over 22 times the legal limit of cigarettes each, the goods will be seized from the women, unless they can prove they purchased them within the EU. It's not just passengers who attempt to smuggle illegal items. In the freight terminal, Officer Helen and sniffer dog Bren have just made a discovery on a batch of packages that have come in from Bridgetown in Barbados.
About half an hour ago we came down to go over the packages that have come in. We offload all of this from the pallet. We empty it all out onto the floor. The dogs can then run over it and they'll indicate if they need to. If they find something, they'll indicate. She showed interest in a box, which we put out again, just so that he is completely sure that it's there. And that's his indication there. And that's the box that I'm looking for.
Bren's indication strongly suggests the package contains drugs.
His indication there was to freeze and to literally stare at the box. His tail sometimes wags a lot, whereas if he's really, really focused on it, he'll literally be completely still.
Gatwick's sniffer dogs play a vital role in intercepting drugs being illegally imported into the country.
This is what's inside the box. Doesn't really smell of anything. What the officer's got there is a cocaine reagent, and it normally comes out pink, but if it goes blue, then it tests positive. There we go. It's just gone blue straight away. It's tested positive to cocaine, so it's actually impregnated T-shirts or clothing with cocaine.
Bren's partnership with Helen was only forged 12 months ago, but already the pair have made a huge number of detections, both in the freight terminal and on passengers.
He's actually been quite successful for his first year. You're normally given a year or so to make sure that they know what they're looking for. Their scent library is wide enough, and yeah, he's done really well for his first year. So I'm very, very happy and very impressed. Run up. Good lad. Well done. Good boy.
Back in the airport's south terminal, Officer Hazel is still questioning the Lithuanian women who have both been found with 22 times their legal limit of cigarettes.
These are Russian cigarettes. That means that you're only entitled to bring in 200 of them.
But we bought them in Lithuania.
You don't have the receipt, though.
I understand, but I didn't know that I need to have receipt.
So how much did you pay for all these?
Oh, you mean carton or that?
Well, for all of them. If you bought them all at the same time, you'd know how much you'd spent.
No, we didn't buy both at the same time.
You see, if you don't have the money to buy them all at once, that suggests to me that you're bringing them here to sell them to make money.
No, she didn't.
Well, that's how it comes across to us as customs officers. So here you've got 4,800. How long will that take us to get through those?
Few months.
But Hazel has spotted something else that adds more doubt to the story.
The number on the side here is exactly the same on all of these.
On all of them.
That would lead me to believe that you bought them all at the same time and that you bought them all in the same place.
4,000. 1, 2,
Oh, so now she's bought them all at the same time, has she? So now you're changing your story.
I didn't have any story, okay?
You told me that she bought them on different days, and now you've just spoken to her again, and now you're changing what you're telling me. You can't expect me to believe you now. Because of the things you've told me and the things that we found out, we are seizing the cigarettes from you, okay? Seizing yours from you, seize your cigarettes from you. We believe that you're bringing them here to sell. If you can provide me with the paperwork that proves that you bought them in Lithuania and that they're tax paid, that's a different matter.
Tell you, I don't have anybody in Lithuania who still have my receipts, okay?
The threat of losing her cigarettes is making the woman argumentative.
Saying that I can bring 3,200.
That's if you bring them in from a European Union country, and that's where those cigarettes have originated from. These haven't. These are Russian cigarettes.
But we bought them in Lithuania, okay? And we bring
But
them...
you need to prove that to me.
Okay.
Personally, I think they're probably here to sell them. They're insisting that that's not the case, but she kept changing the things that she was saying to me about how and when they bought them, what quantities they'd bought them in, so none of it really made any sense, and she got quite cross by the end of it, I think. It's the way it goes. They're seized, so if she wants to complain, she can do.
The man who attempted to bring cocaine... It's early morning at Gatwick Airport, and a flight has just arrived from Montego Bay in Jamaica, a place known to the UK border agency as a hotspot for the trade of illegal drugs.
Kill them.
Vigilant officers have been using sniffer dogs to assess luggage from the flight, and they've identified a brown suitcase which they suspect contains illegal drugs. In the immigration hall, passengers are being observed as they come off the flight. One man with a white jacket and red shirt has been seen to be acting very nervously. As he waits at the luggage carousel for his suitcase, he appears to be getting more and more anxious. He spots the brown suitcase that's suspected of containing drugs, goes to pick it up, but quickly leaves it on the belt. As the brown suitcase comes past again, the man stares at it intently and seems unsure about whether to pick it up. He later leaves with someone else's red suitcase. But as he passes through the customs channels, he's stopped to answer a few questions.
How long have you been away for? 4 weeks, yeah? What's the purpose of your trip? Did you pay for your ticket yourself? I see, right, okay. Where are you off to from here? Where do you live? Croydon. Okay. This is your bag? This is your only bag? Yeah?
The officer checks the luggage tag with the man's travel ticket, which prompts him to have a change of heart.
This is your bag, huh? Do you know where your bag is? Take that bag?
The man is escorted back to the baggage hall to look for his real suitcase, but it's already been found. It's the same brown suitcase he was staring at on the carousel, and which is thought to contain drugs.
Okay, right, the time is now 11:26, okay, and we're listening to being involved in the importation of controlled drugs.
He's led away to a private interview room for further questioning.
Can you take some details just of that, and then we'll get rid of that, I think. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with him. I think it's a female's name.
Officers look inside the red suitcase to see who it might belong to.
I think he realised that people were sort of onto him possibly, and so what he's done is he's just picked up a random bag. He's taken the tags off of the bag, which associates him to the other bag, and then he's just picked up this bag to walk through customs.
With the red suitcase on its way back to its rightful owner, officers can now concentrate on the contents of the man's real bag, which they strongly suspect contains illegal drugs. He's led away to the airport's custody suite, where the contents of his suitcase can be formally assessed. At Gatwick's South Terminal, passengers have just landed from Madrid. In the immigration hall, officers are looking out for any signs of suspicious behavior. Passengers who appear nervous will be pulled over in the customs channels. Officers will then check to ensure they're not carrying anything illegal. A Brazilian passenger from the Madrid flight has been spotted sweating profusely, so officers take him aside to search his suitcase.
Basically, he came through immigration. It was the usual sort of nervous, didn't really answer immigration's questions and that lot.
And how long are you going to be in the UK?
No, I'm leaving tonight.
Okay, going back to Brazil?
Yes, back to Brazil.
And you've travelled all over Europe, is that what?
I don't understand.
On this trip,
Okay.
you've been to lots of places, yes?
Yes, Barcelona, Madrid, Istanbul, and London.
Do you want to sit down? Because you look like you're about to fall down.
No, it's okay.
You're okay. All right, so I understand from listening to you in immigration that it was a business trip.
Okay, yes, it is.
Is that right?
Yes, I was with my representatives here and in Istanbul, Barcelona, and Madrid.
Just for meetings? Or
Yes,
what?
meetings, and of course some tourists too, okay? I don't know why I'm nervous. It's just because it never happened to me to be so questioned like as this time. Yes.
But you attend meetings all the time, yeah, for your
Yes.
job? So you must be familiar with travelling
Yes,
and being
yes.
questioned by people?
Yes,
Yeah?
I
So
don't
why
know.
is it a problem now?
No reason for.
Okay. Calm down.
The man's anxiety leads the officer to doubt his story, so his bags will be thoroughly searched for any illicit items. Officer Fitz assists by swab testing his possessions to see if he's come into contact with any drugs. The swab is then taken for analysis using a machine that can detect even the tiniest traces.
Nothing on the iron trap.
This time, the swab test is clear, but the man's nervous behavior is still alarming. His suitcase is x-rayed to check for unlawful concealments.
It's just like, why would you be that nervous? I wasn't that scary.
Was it his first time?
I was a regular traveller.
No, it's fine.
Nothing is found in his belongings, but officers want to check he's not hiding anything on his body.
Just a rub-down search. You understand?
You don't understand.
All right. I'm going to ask two male officers to take you to a private room and give you a rub-down search. Like you go, when you go through security and you get patted down.
No problem.
Yeah?
One way or another, they'll find out why he's so nervous.
With you, yeah?
I back
At Gatwick's custody suite, the man who's been arrested on suspicion of importing a suitcase full of illegal drugs is being checked in. The brown suitcase he tried to ditch in the baggage hall is taken away to be examined.
The whole bag together was 29 kilos. Now there is some stuff in there, but I would think that there's probably approximately 20 kilos of cannabis here.
8 blocks of what looks like herbal cannabis are pulled from the man's case. It's no wonder he was keen to avoid being caught.
Sit yourself down. All right, just need to take your shoes and...
The man is held in a cell whilst the packages of drugs are weighed.
16 kilos, 16.078. Okay.
I had to cut every one of this. It looks like it is herbal cannabis. I mean, as soon as you cut into it, there's a quite a strong pungent smell. I mean, it's actually surrounding the whole room now. But I had to check all of them because sometimes they have mixed cocaine with cannabis.
A field test is done to confirm the substance definitely is herbal cannabis.
The positive indication should be a kind of like a reddish colour. See, there we go. That's a positive indication for herbal cannabis.
With a street value of more than £45,000, it's an excellent result for the officers. All the man can do now is await his fate. In the airport's South Terminal, the man whose nervous behaviour and profuse sweating has aroused suspicion is being taken for a body search.
Okay, if you just put your bags up onto the bench for me, yeah. Yeah, just put the bags there. And if you just want to take a seat over on the far end.
I'm very nervous. I don't know why.
Very nervous?
Yes.
Okay.
Despite his nerves, the man consents to the search.
Yeah, next one. That's great, that's fine.
Okay.
His shoes are removed so they can be swab tested for any traces of drugs.
If he's got drugs internally, then he'll sweat and it will come out. The sweat partly will be in the shoes. So if this tests positive, then he's either used or he's swallowed.
Once again, the swab is clear, but Officer Fitz has uncovered some revealing secrets.
Yeah, he did actually admit that he's actually quite nervous. I sort of like, yeah. I mean, he had quite a few pills in his little small holdall. So obviously there was one for sort of like for mare sickness, and there's like these other blue pills. So I said, "Oh, what are these?" And he's like,
The man confesses to have recently taken Viagra, which may explain his nervous behaviour.
This sort of thing hasn't happened to him before since he's been travelling for so long. So I think he's just very nervous that he's had to go through all the security appearances. So, but apart from that, he's such a nice chap. Okay, then, sir. Okay. Here's your shoes. Yep, no problem. Want to put those back on?
With all the searches now complete and the reasons for the man's anxiety exposed, he's now free to continue his onward journey.
Okay, thank you very much.
Coming up, officers discover a massive haul of tobacco in the cargo area.
If you open up the plastic, there's quite a strong smell of tobacco. There we go.
Coming up, a repeat smuggler plays innocent.
Have you ever been stopped by customs before? Yeah. Okay. So obviously you should know them by now, shouldn't you?
At Gatwick Airport, the UK Border Agency have a duty of care to assess all passengers and items entering the country. Each year, officers have to check thousands of tons of freight passing through the airport.
Right, here you go. This looks like the one.
Today, Officer Sarah is in the cargo holding area after being asked to check a large number of packages that have just come in from the Far East.
What we've got here is a consignment that's originated in from Hong Kong. It's marked up as clothing accessories, so we've just come over to have a closer look to see what's inside here. What we've got is what looks like large spools here, which look like there's some kind of braiding. Oh. If you open up the plastic, there's quite a strong smell of tobacco coming out of here. Yeah, it smells quite strong.
With suspicions aroused, there's only one way to find out what's inside.
Yeah, there we go.
If each of the reels is filled with tobacco, it will be a concealment worth many thousands of pounds.
This consignment is marked originally from Hong Kong, where tobacco, loose tobacco, is obviously a lot cheaper than here in the UK. Duty levels are quite high, and there's a huge black market in smuggled tobacco. And this consignment here is about 130 boxes.
The reels of tobacco are taken away to be weighed. Officers need to work out how much they found before investigating where it's come from.
Right, there's three reels here, 40 kilos. If you take off the cardboard and the string, it's probably about 10 kilos I'd estimate. in-inch bale.
The unpaid duty for 10 kilos of loose tobacco is worth £1,600.
Okay, 10 kilos. It is a huge amount of effort, but considering the amount of money that these gangs are going to make, for them it's obviously worth going to this effort.
In addition to the risk of smoking, there could be additional products in this tobacco which are even worse for your health than the usual nicotine and tar.
With the haul weighing over 650 kilos, the lost revenue to the tax system would have been over £100,000. It's the biggest ever seizure of loose tobacco at Gatwick.
It's just a routine examination by the guys, and obviously very good work in picking this up.
In Gatwick's South Terminal, a flight has just landed from Tripoli in Libya. As passengers make their way through baggage reclaim, Officer Helen and sniffer dog Bran are checking passengers for the presence of drugs. A lone female passing through customs is of great interest to Bran, so she's stopped for further checks by Officer Hazel.
Okay, you can come with me. Come on, bring your bags around here for me.
Almost immediately, the woman's story seems unconvincing.
So where will you stay in England? Whereabouts in Bristol? You don't know? Do you have anybody meeting you here at Gatwick? Who's meeting you?
A friend.
You just said you don't have any friends or family in England.
I don't have anything, but I just called him there.
The woman's story keeps changing, which is giving Hazel cause for concern.
I'm just going to go and speak to my colleague, OK? If you stay here, just finish repacking your bag. Can I have a search on this girl, please? When I asked her if she had friends or family in England, first of all, she said no. And then she said that she'd called somebody here and that they were going to meet her at the airport. She's got £900. She's really nervous, but she hasn't got a proper address.
Coupled with the sniffer dog indication, Hazel is convinced there's more to the woman than meets the eye.
She's so nervous. She's only got £900, so I'm going to get her... Well, I'm going to do the search of person and see if she's got anything. Right, OK. Because the dog was sniffing at you, he's a drug detector dog. So I need to make sure that you're not carrying any drugs on you or in you, OK? All right, myself and my colleague are going to do a search of your person, OK? It has been authorised by your senior colleague. All right, do your bag up, first of all. OK, if you bring your bag and follow me. Go into the room for me. Just go in, take a seat. OK, can you just check that there's nothing on the floor? Nothing's been left in here, has it? Well, I just need you to sign there to say that you're OK to be searched.
The officers find nothing during the search, but due to the dog indication, Hazel decides to do one more test.
OK, we have a machine here that x-rays you to make sure that you've not got anything inside of you, OK? The machine's just in the hall there, so it won't take very long at all.
If the woman is smuggling drugs internally, officers will know in a matter of minutes. It's the middle of the afternoon, and a flight has just come in from Moldova. Being outside the European Union, passengers have a strict cigarette allowance of just 200. In the baggage reclaim area, officers are closely monitoring a Moldovan passenger who has a prior history for smuggling cigarettes. As he heads through the green customs channel, Officer Fitz pulls him over for further questioning.
Hi, sir. All right, where are you running from today? Just travelling on your own?
Sorry?
Travelling on your own? Are you travelling on your own?
Yes.
Yes, OK. Come here for a minute. How long have you been away for?
1 month.
1 month? And what was your purpose of your visit? Holiday?
No holiday.
Just holiday?
No holiday.
Right.
I live here and come back my country.
Right. So you've been away on holiday?
Yes.
Right. Are you aware of your customs allowances? 1 carton of cigarettes, litre of spirits, and goods up to £390 worth. Yeah? And none of those items at all. OK. Well, I'll have a look in there. It's all right. It's all right. I'll have a look. All right. Move this over here.
With the man's previous history for smuggling cigarettes, Fitz knows not to take him at his word. and straight away he finds a 200 pack of cigarettes. If the passenger's carrying any more, he'll have breached his allowance. A little deeper in the case, Fitz stumbles across a brown chocolate box, which is clearly being used to hide packs of cigarettes. As the box is opened, individual packs of cigarettes are found concealed within drawers. The man is way over his allowance, and he knows it.
Just for yourself. Why you put them in here for? Why have you put them in here? Basically, you were trying to hide them, weren't you?
I just put it.
Sorry?
I just put it. Not for this.
I know they're for yourself, but you tried to hide them from me, didn't you?
I didn't know that this is a problem.
All right, then, well, just answer me this question. Have you ever been stopped by customs before?
Huh?
Have you ever been stopped by customs before? Yeah. Okay. So obviously you should know them by now, shouldn't you? This is a seizure notice that say that I'm seizing 800 cigarettes from you. So I need your signature there, full name and date.
Lies and deceit are a challenge faced by officers every day.
This is a warning letter. If it happens again, it might be taken further, all right?
All of the man's cigarettes are seized once again. Fitz provides him with a guidance leaflet about his customs allowances.
Right? You've got it? Oh, you've got it. So you know then, do you? All right.
With all pretense dropped, the man is free to go. 800 cigarettes lighter. In one of Gatwick Airport's X-ray suites, a woman who's flown in from Libya has been taken for a full body scan.
390, thank you. You said you don't have an address to stay at in England. But you don't know where you're sleeping tonight? Okay. Right, okay, this is consent for X-ray examination, okay. Thank you.
The woman confirms she's happy to do the X-ray voluntarily.
Okay, what I need you to do is breathe in now. When the belt starts to move, breathe out slowly, okay?
With a suspicious and inconsistent story, there's good reason to put her through the X-ray. But finding nothing out of the ordinary, the woman is no longer suspected of importing illegal drugs. She's escorted back into the terminal. Despite no evidence for drugs, her reasons for being in the UK are still doubtful, so officers in immigration will investigate her story further.
Brought her back to immigration because I believe she's here to work. But it's out of my hands now. It's down to my immigration colleagues to decide what they do with her. Well, listen, I'm going to leave it with the immigration officers, OK? From a customs point of view, we're happy that you don't have anything you shouldn't have, OK? If you just take a seat, the immigration officers will be with you soon, OK? Just sit down, all right?
The woman was later interviewed by UK border agency officers working in immigration. She was eventually allowed to enter the UK on her student visa.